All right, everybody. Welcome to episode number 99 of Sports Cards Live. This is the Wayne Gretzky Tribute episode. It is Saturday, May the 29th, 2021. My name is Jeremy Lee. All right, I do want to thank last Saturday's guest, Jeff Morris, formerly of Pinnacle Trading Cards and Pacific Trading Cards. He had some amazing stories. Check out that episode. It is on the YouTube channel. Also want to thank last Saturday's After Hours guest, Ryan Nolan from the YouTube channel Breakout Cards. We had a great show going over the Dallas show. He's a young guy that specializes in vintage through modern, really inspirational collector. Check out his YouTube channel, Breakout Cards. Those episodes, along with all other past episodes of Sports Cards Live, are on the YouTube channel, as well as on all podcast platforms for your binging enjoyment. Also want to mention that this past Wednesday, had a lot of fun covering the endings of the PWCC auctions that were ending on eBay. Even bid on a couple myself during the show. That was a lot of fun. A few shout outs, guys. I do want to welcome all new viewers to the channel, closing in very close to 2,900 subscribers on YouTube. I appreciate each and every one of you. The podcast audience continues to grow, so thank you to everyone who does support and watches and listens to the show. Greatly appreciate it. If you're not yet subscribed, please go ahead, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and if you do, within 48 hours, you will be showered with riches. Yeah. Shout out to the Big Three Hockey on Instagram. Give them a follow. They're great supporters of the channel. I appreciate them very much. And I also want to let you guys know, if you don't know yet, that the virtual Sport Card Expo will be June the 19th and 20th. Slab Fest will be on during the weekend. Registration is free. I'll be setting up. Be sure to come by, check it out. Come say hello to me at my booth. It will be under the Sports Cards Live banner. Later on tonight, after this Gretzky Tribute episode is over, we will be doing the After Hours show on the same channel, different broadcast. Check that out as well. Our guest will be one of my longtime hobby buddies, an eBay consignment seller, a power seller. His name is Spencer Williams. He'll be joining me to talk about what's going on in the hobby with him and some of the changes YouTube's made and the impact it's having on sales over there. I also want to shout out our boy Ben Carlos from the YouTube channel by the same name, Ben Carlos, and the podcast Friends with Ben, who set up the show tonight. Thank you, Ben. Check out his YouTube channel. Give him a subscribe. You will not be disappointed. One of the most entertaining guys out there in hobby content. As always, everybody, tonight, your comments and your questions are in play, and this is a special episode. We will be bringing you onto the show. You don't know how to get on yet. I haven't shared the link yet. I'm sharing it shortly. I promise you. So be ready to click on it. It'll bring you into the green room, into the back room. I will see you in there. You're going to have to enter your full name first and last, and you're going to have to set up your mic and your camera to be picked up by StreamYard. You want to use Google Chrome, whether you're on a desktop, a laptop, or an iPhone or an iPad. You want to use Google Chrome. Okay. But we do have a special guest joining for tonight. He really needs no introduction. He previously joined the show on July 4th, 2020 for episode number 25. He is known as the Wayne Gretzky of Wayne Gretzky Collecting. Not cards per se, but memorabilia. He does dabble in cards too. Let's go ahead and bring him out. There he is, Shawn Chaulk. Welcome to the show. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
Absolutely excellent. Really good to be back, especially for episode 99. I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
You know, Shawn, I appreciate having you tonight. You did mention to me back when I had you on last time, you said, hey, you know what? If and when you get to episode 99, maybe we can do something special. And as I approached episode 99 over the past, week or two, we've been in touch a little bit. We tried to make something very special happen, but i.e. maybe bring the man on himself. That's a tough thing to do. But we got you. We got the Gretzky of Gretzky Collectors. We're going to bring on some other people to join us tonight. So let's go ahead, Shawn. I'm going to throw up the link right now, everybody. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the chat. It's going to show up in the YouTube chat and the Facebook chat right now. It is now there. You can see it. It's a StreamYard.com link. If you click on that, that will bring you into the chat. I'm also going to throw it up right there on the screen. You can see it. If you enter that into your browser, you will come into the studio. It's as simple as that. This is a slick machine that we run the show on. So look forward to having some of you here. The plan is to bring you guys on for, anywhere from like 2 to 4 minutes per person. Share your story, have a quick discussion, show us a card or two, an item or two, whatever it is. And let's just hear about some of the passion that Gretzky collectors have. And you don't have to just be a Gretzky collector. You can dabble in Gretzky. You can collect whatever, rookie cards, Hall of Fame cards, Gretzky cards, whatever fits. If you have a card you're proud of and you want to share it with us, or an item, please do go ahead and come on and join us with that. So while we're waiting for people to click through, Shawn, we're going to do two things in the meantime. We're going to welcome people that are in the chat, and we're going to chat a little bit about some of the things that have happened recently, very recently, actually, with Gretzky's items. And in particular, we just saw that sale of one of the two PSA 10 O-Pee-Chee rookies that just sold last week for $3.75 million US. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
It's 3 times the amount that I believe the other copy sold for in December. So when you heard about that, initial thoughts on a 3x increase from in less than 6 months on this super rare and important card?
Well, I'm not going to lie. The first time I saw it pop up on my phone, I honestly thought it was probably not even true. So first thing I did was go in and try and find the source of the information. And then, honestly, my phone started blowing up. So many people messaged me and texted me everything from, was that your card? Or do you know who the seller is? To, I had it all coming at me. So I quickly realized it was true. And then, just absorbing the magnitude of what that did to that card and to the industry and to hockey cards in general is like, holy moly. I gotta assess this. Then the first thing I thought of was, did the guy who paid, the 1.2 million flip it, or did the second owner of the other card come to market and say, well, Heritage, find me a buyer? Because Heritage has a pretty deep Rolodex. They have the buyers, but to turn a card over from that 3 times at that level, turning a $10 card to a $30 card, but when you're talking millions, that's beyond what I thought could happen to that card. And, looking back, I was telling my wife this yesterday. Back in the fall of 2018, I was offered 3 times the PSA 10 Tops and the PSA 10 O-Pee-Chee. But I really wasn't strong into cards until 2018. And even though I would have made 6 times my money, I had no idea that could have been achievable then, of course, or we'd all be rich doing this. But I actually turned down those 2 cards multiple times.
Yeah. I wish I had an opportunity to buy them, but if I did, I wouldn't have been able to anyway. But what I thought of was the guy who sold the card in December of 2020, who was actually on the show with me back in February. Patrick Bet-David was the seller of the PSA 10 in December of 2020, and he came on and explained sort of his strategy behind selling it. He also sold the PSA 10 Tops card that month, which I think sold for 700 and something thousand. Has since been sold again for I think 1.3 million. So both the Tops and the O-Pee-Chee cards have gone up in value substantially since they sold in December.
But if he hadn't to come to market with his and set the bar at what it was, this $3.5 million or whatever it was, $1 million sale would have never happened this week. I
agree.
That sale at that level is what brought the other guy out and brought notoriety to the card. It was always a pretty top card, of course, but now it's measurable to the Mickey Mantle rookies and their top sales and the Babe Ruth cards and things like that. So it really brought that card, and I'd like to think hockey, up into an area where the big guns who really focused on baseball for that level of buying are now looking at, maybe there's a market in this hockey, and I think that's going to be good for the market.
Yeah, I agree 100% with your initial comment there, that if the first sale didn't happen, the second sale might not happen at all, or if it happens at a lower price. And it reminds me of the PSA 8 Honus Wagner that was once owned by our man Wayne Gretzky, and how thinking that if that card doesn't sell for 460,000, then 650, then 1.2, then 2.1, and up, cards need to sell for values for it's funny to use the word value, but we'll use it. Cards need to sell for their values to go up. Otherwise, there's no benchmark. There's nothing to compare it to. Nothing to base what a collector or a buyer or an investor might feel the next incremental bump is worth. Okay, we've got 4 people waiting in the background. I see all of you. We got Josh, Ryan, and Steve in that order. So guys, I know you can hear me. I see you. Can't hear you, but I see you all. So we're going to bring you on one at a time shortly. Trust me, we will get to everybody. I do want to just welcome the chat quickly, and then we will go to the first. We'll bring on our first guest, which will be Josh Glover. I do want to welcome Rocco Rosado to the show. Good evening, Rocco. Happy to have you as always. Facebook user, I don't know who you are right now, but yes, I'm missing the Leafs Habs game. I saw 2-1 Habs. Lee Haskins, I appreciate that, Lee. Terry Fortune says this will be a great show. Terry would know. He's got 100 Gretzky rookies. Frank Gostella, good evening to you. Happy to have you. Bobby Baseball, Charles Murphy. Yeah, it was fate that Gretzky rookie sold the week that episode 99 came around. That worked out really well. Good evening, Dennis. Good evening, Tim. We got Lapper. Great to see you. Stoked for the show. Thank you. Jameson Riley, the only podcast I enjoy right here since you've been in the hobby for more than 2 years. I have been. Thank you, Jameson. Really appreciate it. Kevin Gates, good evening to you. We got Ralphie in the house. Stamatis, good evening, Ralph. Sean the Legend, there you go. Stephen De Silva, good to have you. Daniel Busby, we got Michael Hamm. Good evening, Michael. And guys, I'm just going to throw that up again. There is the link. It is in the chat on both Facebook and YouTube. If you want to join, just click on it. Sanderson to Orr, good evening. There we go. Kevin Doty, one of the nicest vintage collectors you're ever going to come across. Good evening, Kevin. Great to have you. Long time no speak, my man. Facebook user says, what's up? Shawn Chaulk. B. Roy, good evening to you. There needs to be a card of Sean's Gretzky tattoo. No doubt. Sean, you want to show your tattoo? There you go, everybody. If you haven't seen that before, check that out. That is dedication, is it not? Is that not dedication to a collection? Right on. Tim Maron, good evening to you. Terry Fortune, does anybody, buyer has wanted to remain anonymous is what I heard. Sanderson to Orr, we got Global Sports Card Investor, Mastradamus, Fire Sports Cards, good evening. Zach Danner, we got Corey Carr, good evening to you. Pipes, exactly. Okay, let's, guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring on Josh Glover. Josh, give me the thumbs up if you are ready to join. He is ready to join. Let's bring him on. There's Josh Glover. Josh, look at that background. You can tell this guy is a collector. The mirrors make the room maybe look a little bit bigger than it is.
It does.
It does. So, man, so listen, you're kicking off the episode. You get to set the stage. What do you want to share with us? What do you want to talk about? What do you have about Wayne Gretzky? A story, an item, a card. And by the way, we've hung out at the expo in Toronto year after year after year. It's just good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, good to see you, Jeremy. I mean, for me, Gretzky, I'm an Oilers fan from early 80s. That's when I grew up. I grew up in a small town on the prairies, and my dad was from Edmonton, so that became the team that we both followed when he stopped being a Leafs fan, thank God. And we both loved the Oilers. You wouldn't like this, Jeremy. We'd drive 3 hours to watch the Oilers play the Jets, because that was the closest arena that we could get to, and always cheering for the Oilers, of course. But I never got a chance to meet him at those games. But, you know, I always just was an Oilers fan. When I started collecting old 80s Oilers. That's really was the focus a lot of the time in the cards I was trying to pick up. And I went with Curry mainly because it was cheaper than chasing Gretzky cards all the time at the time when I started. But, you know, I'd pick up a Gretzky here or there. And for me, actually, one of the most interesting things was when I met my future wife. At the time, my girlfriend found out she was a Gretzky fan. She'd been a hockey bunny who followed Gretzky's career all the way through, you know, followed him to the Kings, which I must admit I didn't really do. I stayed with the Oilers. And her uncle was involved with sort of helping the LA Kings with their flights because he worked with Air Canada down in Los Angeles. So he got to know Bruce McNall and Gretzky and got a bunch of autograph stuff for her. So she had better Gretzky stuff than I did. And then actually we went out to see Curry's retirement ceremony so that she would have a chance to see Gretzky live at the building. And, you know, it became a really cool trip for us. So my first Gretzky rookie was actually a birthday card for my wife. And it's the only one I have. It's the only reason I could justify buying it. So she's got a Topps PSA 7. I don't have a Gretzky rookie. Missed the chance to buy one from Jeremy a couple of years ago. I still kick myself for that.
Which what grade was it in, or was it raw?
The one I was going to buy from you was a O-Pee-Chee. I think it was an off-center 6 or 7. So you had it priced down a couple grades. It would have been a really good deal compared to what they're going for now. That's for sure.
Yeah, especially if that was a few years ago. No doubt,
Yeah.
no doubt.
No, so for me now, I got a handful of Gretzky autos, and I both collect the Oilers and I collect Team Canada stuff. So I was going to show my 2 favorite cards, one from each of those collections. I don't know how this is going to work on my camera.
Well, just go, just, put it in front, and there you go. Yeah. So that's from 05. Oh, yeah. That's from actually 08-09 Cup, is it not? That's the Program of Excellence. Yeah, it's the first year of the Program of Excellence. So I wanted to do the set, but I knew that was going to be the hard one, so I managed to pick that one off pretty fast. And actually, I still haven't finished the set, but it's Gretzky out of 10. And then with the Oilers, by far my favorite from the Oilers collection, the signed banner out of 5. Wow. The retired numbers has sort of become my thing since going to Curry's retirement ceremony. So I've got the banners from all the guys. I see Sean's got a poster in the background of those. And for me, I've got the little mini banners signed by a couple of players. I've still got Gretzky's. I'd love to end up finding a way to get that signed someday, but most of the rest of them are. Yeah, good luck on that. Sean, you were going to say something?
Yeah, the 2 cards you have, you couldn't have picked much nicer looking cards. Those are probably 2 of my favorite signed modern era Gretzky cards right there. That banner one is something else, but the richness of the red Canada uniform in that card is unbelievable, and I just love that card. It pops.
Yeah, no, those are, as I said, two of my favorites for sure. Got a bunch of other Oilers and multi-Oiler cards that are cool for me with my Oilers collection, but anyway, those are the 2 I just wanted to show off today.
Right on. Well,
the best thing in your collection, is your wife, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt, as long as she lets me keep buying my stuff, which she definitely does, as you can see behind it.
Awesome, Josh. Well, hey, man, thanks for calling in, kicking off the show. So appreciate you, buddy, and hopefully we'll see you in Toronto in November for the actual expo.
Here's hoping.
All right, buddy. Thanks, Parrot. Great to have you. All right, guys. I want to say hello to Jay-Z in the house. Jay-Z, if you got a nice Gretzky card, dial in. Everyone, the link is now streaming on the bottom of the channel, of the screen on the ticker. If you don't see it in the chat, I'll throw it up in the chat again shortly. But if anyone else wants to join the show, that link will bring you in. You want to use Google Chrome, whether you're on a laptop, desktop, iPhone, iPad, it'll work on any of those devices. All right. Josh number 2, are you ready to come on? And all right, let's bring on Josh number 2, everybody. Here he comes. There we go. What is happening, my man? How are you?
Hello. Can you hear me? I've got this furry microphone thing.
We hear you. We hear you just fine, actually. Very good connection.
Well, it's 2-2, by the way. It's 2-2.
Okay. Yeah. Appreciate the update. We need updates throughout the third period, everybody. Josh, what do you want to talk about? Show off for Gretzky.
Well, if I only have 3 minutes, I don't know how I'm going to get it all in, but let me try quickly.
You've got more than 3. You got more than 3.
Oh, thank you. Hey, Sean, how you doing? I can even bring Sean into the story and thank him for not twisting my arm to trade my Gretzky 9 for his Mantle 5, because I think the Gretzky kind of overtook the Mantle. At one time they were both worth about 60,000, and now they're not. But anyway, so for me growing up, I'm a Toronto guy. I was a Toronto fan because it only made sense. But I also I'm a sucker for the best of the best, right? So I'm cheering for Michael Jordan. Now the Gretzky thing, though, I got sucked into being a huge fan of Lemieux. I could not get enough of Lemieux. So I would cheer for Lemieux in Pittsburgh. And if they play Toronto, I would hope it's maybe 6-5 Toronto with Lemieux scoring 5 goals. So that was me. So I ended up with, I was interested in the Lemieux rookie, but of course you have to also, like the Gretzky rookie is a magnet. You can't not be sort of attracted, pulled towards it. I remember making a trade once for a not so nice Gretzky for a nicer Lemieux when I was a kid. Anyway, then I grew up, forgot about collecting, and then was reborn into it 10 years ago, where I actually met Jim Francis. We became buddies in the hobby. I don't know, the Gretzky, just, again, the magnet pulled me in. I still have a bunch of Lemieux. I got Lemieux wax packs with the Lemieux showing. But the Gretzky just pulled me in. I love the card. There's something about it, that blue border. It comes out of nowhere. You know, you go look, what about 1978, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way back up? Is there a set that looks anything like that, right? So it's really cool. And I remember buying a 9 in 2013. And then 2 years later, selling it for a triple what I paid. Of course, I would like to get it back. And then somehow I got lucky enough to buy another card raw, get it graded a 9. And that's the one I was talking to Shawn about. Yeah, so that's kind of my kind of brief summary of my.
Let me ask you this, Josh. Did you say that you submitted a Gretzky O-Pee-Chee rookie into PSA and it came back a 9?
Yes, about 2 to 3 years ago.
That's tough.
They did. Yeah, they did. They did the old like hold it hostage. You know, ask for another $800 US. And I thought, well, what choice what am I supposed to say? No. But yeah, I did send it in, Jeremy. I've had a lot of 8s that I've gotten graded myself. Unfortunately, I only have 1 8 now. I'd like to have them all back. But what can you do, right? Now, Jeremy's had some nice cards. I'm sure that he'd want back too. Shawn, you also think I told a story or two where you'd want something back as well. But we all do, right?
Yeah, all do. Yeah, it happens for sure. You know, one question that always comes to mind for me when guys have a 9 and the market does the things that it's been doing lately, do you ever think of selling it? Because, you know, when you buy a 9 7 or 8, 10 years ago for $3,000 or whatever it was going for, and you look at $200,000 or $250,000 now, that's life-changing money to most people.
Yeah.
So the guys holding the 9, I know only a couple have sold really relative to what's out there. I always wonder what makes people keep hanging on to them. I mean, because there comes a time when that financial impact, you have to look at it and say, I could do a lot with that.
Yeah, you're right, man. I'm glad you asked that.
Does it ever cross your mind? I mean,
yeah, that's a great question. What I would say, first of all, strangely, I think a lot have sold in the past 6 months, maybe 8 or 10, maybe 10. Golden, Heritage, Mile High, PWCC ×2. They're all different serial numbers. So I think maybe somewhere around 10 have sold sort of different serial numbers. You know what? I had one, I sold one. And then I see the price go up and I want another one. I got lucky enough to have another one graded a 9. I could show the 9, but I got a picture of it. It's in a safe at a bank right now. But Jeremy, you have a picture. I don't know if you can show the picture or not. I don't know.
Well, if you can just put it in front of the camera, in front of your camera, and show it that way. You know, I'm sure people are disappointed that you don't have it with you, but let's have a look at it on your camera if you have a picture.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Let me. Shit. Okay, as I'm talking to you, I'm going to try to do it now. But
yeah, go ahead. While you're looking for it, I just want to. We've got 2 more people have joined us in the background.
I don't know if you can see. I could talk. I mean, here's the 9 is the 9 is in the top. I don't know, whatever corner. There's an 8 and then an autographed one that I sent to. That's my hand. I swear you could take a print. But anyway. So yeah, Shawn, I would sell mine, and in fact, I'll offer it through Jim Francis's, I guess, store, if you want to call it that, at the show in June. If anyone is interested in buying from a Canadian, otherwise they're all for sale in the U.S. So it's for sale in the next month or so if anyone's interested.
Okay, okay, Josh, we've had some more people join, so we're gonna wrap it up. But thank you for joining, man. Loved hearing the story. Too bad you don't have the cards there, but as As Luigi says, imagine keeping a PSA 9 Gretzky at home. So I don't think anyone blames
Thank you, Luigi. I appreciate it. I'm not the only one that would be freaked out. Thank you.
Exactly.
Thanks, guys. Jeremy, great show. Thank you. Thanks, Sean.
Josh. Good to see you, pal. Good to see you, man. All right, guys. Next up, we're going to bring in Ryan. Ryan, give us 2 seconds. And then we have since had Ed and Jay-Z have joined us. So the order is now Ryan, Steve, Ed, and then Jay-Z. So you all here. But before we do that, we're just going to take a quick look at the comments here. I think we're pretty much current with everything. Kevin Doty, if you want to ask a question, you got to come on and ask it tonight, buddy. You got to come on and ask it. Click that link. All right, Ryan Stratachuck, are you ready to come join? He's ready. All right, let's bring on Ryan and let's hear what Ryan's story, what his Gretzky story is. How's it going, pal?
Very well. How are you two?
Good.
Good to meet you. I appreciate you having me on. This is pretty sweet.
Yeah, happy to have you, man. Happy to have you. It's our pleasure. So, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I think I'm pretty common to a lot of Gretzky collectors. I've never seen nor been close enough to touch something like a PSA 9, but I mean, it started as a young kid in the late 80s. I mean, I grew up in a small town, so we didn't really have a lot of access to shops or anything. It was a lot of O-Pee-Chee stickers from the Red Rooster or whatever you could find. And I mean, my dad was more of a collector at the time than I was. And that's sort of what got me into it. I think from a player standpoint, I was just kind of, you build sets, and he's a Wings fan. So he had a relatively extensive Yzerman collection. I was always like, well, why save one guy? And he's like, well, it's favorite player. That's kind of what you do. I mean, at the time, outside of collecting sets, there wasn't the option for being an auto guy or a memorabilia guy or anything. So it was kind of the one other avenue to take. So I'm like, wow, who would I collect? I mean, we being as close to Edmonton as we were, it's kind of funny. None of us were ever Oilers fans anywhere near. My grandmother was probably the only one in the family. The house that my dad grew up in is actually a 10-minute walk from Northlands, just south of the Hughes station that was or is still there. I don't know. I haven't been there for a while, but so I'm like, well, I don't know, Dad. Like, I'm an 8-year-old kid. What do I do? I don't know who to collect. So who's the best player out there? Well, probably Gretzky. And that was the start and the end of it. Ever since, it's been, well, whatever cards I can find. I mean, I've only got the one rookie I got as a wedding present from my wife. It's just a raw tops, but I mean, that means more to me than probably most of the cards in my collection. And it's just been the anchor to my collecting. You sort of jump around, collect a set here or there, or decide to, like, I'm a Rangers fan, so I have a Rangers collection, Lundqvist cards and stuff like that, Messier, Jäger. But anytime you kind of hit that wall in the hobby, it's like, jump on eBay or wherever, Hobby Insider, whatever the forum of the day is, and be like, well, let's go after a couple of Gretzky cards. It's always the anchor that brings you back. I don't know why. It's just that's always how it's been for me. So I mean, and even today, just sitting waiting for the show, I'm on eBay right now, seeing a couple more that maybe I can throw in there, and it's just been the never-ending freight train, I guess, really. So
are you collecting like all sorts of Gretzky cards now, like right up to modern inserts, that kind of thing?
Anything I can get my hands on. I've tried focusing lately just because of how nuts the market's kind of gone on some of the stuff. The mid-90s, King, some of the Don Russ and Pinnacle inserts that I didn't have. Just something a little different to go after that isn't going to break my bank. I mean, I don't really have to worry about what it costs as far as the hobby's concerned on my end. But I mean, I'm kind of like Josh. I don't know how I justify paying the dollars for some of the cards that are floating around out there right now. But yeah.
No, I hear it. I bid on a card yesterday, it was yesterday. It was like a 2013 Skybox Rubies out of 50, an upper deck card, and it was at like $70 or $66 with 3 seconds left. And I put in a bid. I called it a super snipe. I tried to snipe it for like $333.33, something like that. Put in my bid, instantly outbid by somebody else, right? I thought, how did the super snipe miss? And then I posted on Instagram. I said, well, I guess I didn't win the card. And then the guy who did win it wrote me and said, sorry. I said, hey, good for you.
That's crazy. And I mean, that's kind of, I guess, how Gretzky collectors are. They're always the most passionate of the passionate in the hobby. Anyone you talk to, by far, they're willing to put out whatever they can to grab that piece that they're missing. So.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Anything you want to show?
Sure. I mean, I've been relatively lucky as far as pulling cards from actual collection, but these were the first two. One rookie update dual auto, and then an 05, 06 artifacts when that first came out were sort of my first two auto relic cards of his that I actually pulled. And I like those just because there's always an extra feeling when you're busting wax and you hit something that actually is going to go into your PC versus always buying stuff on eBay and whatever. So
for sure, when you pull it yourself, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I love the signed inserts. They're probably my favorite cards of all. Are the autographed inserts, especially the numbered ones, of course, because you know that when you pull it, and if it's a 1 out of 9 or a 1 out of 25, that there's a very, very small amount of you that has that card and a very large amount that want it. So it's kind of cool to hit those for sure. One of the things I thought was kind of neat, you said we've had three people on tonight, and two of them had connections of their spouses to their rookie cards. I think that's kind of funny that we have 2 or 3, and you know, it's when you're wrapped up in these silly hobbies like we all are, having an understanding spouse is so awesome. When you with it.
I totally agree. It's the last right of refusal. I'm not gonna go out there and try and grab one without permission these days. So it's good that that's where it comes from.
Yeah, that's so cool. Love that. I've had that support system here forever. Yeah. My wife just lets me enjoy my space, and she trusts what I'm doing, whether I'm buying or investing in it or just blowing it. She just trusts what I do, and it's so awesome that I know that she supports the hobby. I mean, it's Saturday night and I'm here and not on the couch, and you know, it's just great to have that in your relationship, because that's an important part of your hobby time too, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Right on. All right, Ryan, man. Well, thanks for coming on, telling the story, sharing a couple cards.
No problem.
That's really cool, man. Great to have you. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Take care, guys.
Nice to
All right. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of the show, please.
Thanks. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. So, Steve D, you are up next. You got the thumbs up. Give me two seconds. And then we got Ed, then we got Jay-Z, then we got Tim, and then we got Kevin Doty is there. Kev, you got a bit of a wait. So don't, I see he's walking around his house. Don't discharge all your battery there. Before we bring on Steve, I do want to just go through a couple of quick comments. Mickey, good evening to you. Good to have you. Facebook user, what's the pop on the PSA 9? It's like 130, I think, or something like that. Lapper says no Oilers fans out there right now either. Bobby Burrell says you need to run through 99 guests. If we had 99, we would give it a go. We'd give it a go, Bobby. Lee Haskins, I can't be on camera to join, but in text, I'll say I found 3 Gretzky rookies in a shoebox last year I bought when I was a teenager in 1979. They look like they're in grade 8 range. Very good. Congratulations to you on that. Josh says the pop of the Gretzky 9 is under 100. Thank you for that information, Josh. I was, yeah, maybe it's like, oh, that's right. I think the Topps PSA 9 is just over and the O-Pee-Chee is just under. I can see we've had someone else trying to join. So, guys, I have room for 10 people in the background right now. And apparently we don't have any extra room right now. I'm going to boot Josh, the second Josh who was with us. I'm going to kick him very quickly. And now we have room for someone else to join. Okay. So let's bring on Steve D. Steve, what is up?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, Jeremy. Hey, Shawn.
We're having trouble hearing you. Can you try to fix your mic if possible?
Uh-oh. What about now?
You're very, very quiet. So what you need to do is go to the cam mic option at the bottom of your screen and see if you can maybe switch up the mic or unplug your headphones or try it a different way. Say something.
Test. How's that?
A little bit better. We'll go with it, Steve. What's happening tonight? How are you?
I'm unplugged today. I'm great, guys. I really appreciate you guys allowing me on the show tonight, and it's an honor. And I'm not worthy, Shawn, ultimate Gretzky collector. I'm just honored to be on the show tonight with you both guys, Jeremy and Shawn. So thanks for having me.
Great to have you, man.
Good to have you. I really like your backdrop.
Yeah. Funny story on this one here. This is a Zurich, Canada poster from a bus shelter that happened to fall out back in think 1991 or so, I was at a bus shelter in Toronto. I'm originally from Toronto, and I was waiting at a bus there, waiting for a bus, and it happened to be there, and it fallen down. So it was, I pulled it, and it fell out. So I had to roll it up and carry it home. So it's a funny story. It's been in storage for the last 10 years. I actually pulled it out for the show for tonight just to show it. But yeah, it's a funny story. So hopefully no one comes after me after all these years for it. But yeah, well, thanks, man.
Any story you want to tell? Any Gretzky experience? Any card you want to show? Or any other item?
Well, so I'm originally from Toronto. So growing up in the 80s, I had to unfortunately go through the Ballard years and with the Leafs, and so staying up late during the late nights and watching the West Coast and seeing the Oilers. I think that's when it all kind of started for me, and becoming a big fan of Gretzky, and ever since then I've just been collecting whatever I can in terms of cards and any type of memorabilia I can get my hands on. And so it's just been a big collector overall in terms of enjoying Gretzky stuff, right? And in terms of Gretzky rookie cards, I do have one raw one that I do own that I got back in the early 90s and never got it graded. I've asked Shawn's opinion on it a few times. I think he's told me it might go for a 2 or 3, but I've kept it raw. I haven't really sent it out yet for PSA. And I only paid about $100 for it back in the early 90s. So
Good buy.
Yeah, so it's O-Pee-Chee. So again, this is one of my prized possessions, right? Is the rookie card. So
Looks really good.
Yeah, congrats, man. There's something to be said about having your very first, one that you bought when you were younger, before cards became a big deal, especially before the recent boom. So it's always nice to have your childhood card or one that goes back several years at least. So, and especially ungraded, you may grade it one day, you may not. It's you make that decision, but either way, it's cool that you still have it.
Yeah, for me, I'm the type of person, I like to take it out every once in a while and touch it. I know once you slab it, that's it. It's in there for life, right?
That's right.
I think, the fact that I'm still kind of contemplating, should I send it out? And obviously, when you do send it out, it gets graded and there's more value. But I want to enjoy it still while I still can for now. But yeah.
Right on, man. Well, thanks.
I was going to say grading is, it's one of those things. If you're not doing it for value, then enjoy it the way it is, right? Having it graded, really, a slab is a slab, and you can enjoy it there, and there's no risk. You're not sending it out and risk losing it and whatnot. So, grading has its place in the market, but there's nothing wrong with a raw card or one in your own slab either. I mean, just enjoy it for what it is.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
All right, Steve. Well, thanks for coming on, man. Great to have you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of the night.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, we're going to go next to, so I'm going to just run through the lineup. We got Ed Cook, followed by Jay-Z. Then we've got Tim Maron. Then we got Kevin Doty, who's there. Rich is in the background, Kevin Mack, and then Bobby Burrell. So we've got guys, I appreciate you waiting. We're definitely going more than the 3 minutes I said it originally for each person, because at the beginning we only had 3 guys in the background, so I wasn't sure. But I'm just going to go to a couple of quick comments here. Sean Johnson, I don't mean to be negative because I love Gretzky cards, but has the hobby almost come to overrate his value compared to his contemporaries? I know he's a GOAT premium, but the multiplier on 99. I think it's just when you're number one, you command that premium in the hobby, regardless of the sport. Just like Michael Jordan's cards sell for crazy multiples of a LeBron or a Magic or a Bird or a Kobe or anyone else would be next. So I think it's just the way the hobby operates.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to move to Ed Cook. Ed, are you ready to come on? All right, there he is. How's it going, Ed?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you good.
There he is. There's Chalker. There's the man.
My buddy Donnie Dumpy.
So I got some jerseys framed up, double autograph print there. Sundin and Wayner from last game at Maple Leaf Gardens, 8/99. Got that as a gift. But yeah, I came on because Shawn and I met during a Gretzky collecting dinner at the restaurant there before she closed down. Walter was there with us. Chalker and I had a time that night.
Yeah.
Closed her down pretty good. And so since then, we've had a pretty good friendship blossom out of that. And one of the 2 cards that I'm going to show is one that I actually got from Shawn. Very simple card.
Yes.
Very simple card, right? Just the craft, hand-drawn art.
Yeah.
It was
Great
one
card.
that I just loved that card and I wanted it real bad. Shawn put it up for sale. One still in the wrapper. And we made that deal. So I was able to get that. And then I know it's no 9 and it's not in a bank, but I got the graded 3. And I like what you were saying, Shawn. Like if you want it to stay raw, keep it raw. But the point of my Gretzky collection is it's going to be inherited by my kids. I got 2 kids, and I've got 2. I got 1 off right now being graded, and that way when I've passed on, they get my collection. No one can bicker about the price. It's going to have, this is the price, and there's no haggling over that, right? Or there's very little wiggle room. Whereas if it's raw, then someone can be like, oh, I'm only going to give you so much for it, right? So, but that one I bought when I was in high school. I think at the time it was $500. A local card shop. Guy let me do payment plans on it. You know, I'm a kid working minimum wage at the local sports store. So from Woodstock, Ontario originally, so just down the road from Wayne's hometown. Flyers fan myself, but I think it was just in the mid 80s growing up, watching Wayne and the boys defeat the Flyers. I took Flyers as the team, but Wayne was the man.
Right on.
Yeah, that's it.
Well,
something I want to touch on that he mentioned earlier, how him and I only met about 1.5 years ago, and now we have a pretty strong friendship, and we talk once a week at least, you know, on text or some banter back and forth on what's going on. That I've always said, you know, the hobby is great. You know, I get to buy and sell lots of things. I've got to do lots of things. But the most important thing I've ever taken out of the hobby in the 25 or 30 years I've been in it is the friendships. You know, like yourself, this is just one example, but some of the best, truest friends I have come out of this hobby. Kevin Doty is waiting to talk, and you know, there's not a finer gentleman in the hobby than Kevin is. You know, he was instrumental in educating me on vintage cards when I got into them and things like that. You know, that's one thing I tell people all the time, that the best thing about this entire hobby is the people in it and the friendships that we get out of it. And, you know, I just can't say enough about that. The people are fantastic. I just love that part.
I agree 100%, Shawn. It's, you know, the cards are one thing. The community is another thing. We call it the hobby. I'm starting to call it the lifestyle, because it's so much more. It's more than just a hobby. For me, it is truly a lifestyle, all just overall. So, okay, we're gonna keep going. Ed, great to see you. Great to meet you, man. Thanks for joining the show tonight.
Thanks for having me there, Jeremy.
On,
yeah, and I'm just gonna say, guys, when you leave the show, so Steve D, I see you still there. If you guys could actually just click out of the window so that we have room for more people, and then just please continue watching on YouTube. I greatly appreciate that.
All right, have a good one, guys.
All right, Ed, thanks so much, man. All right, next up, we are going to bring my man, Jay-Z. But before we do, I'm just going to run through the order again. Jay-Z, then Tim Maron, then Kevin Doty, then we got Rich, then we got Kevin Mack, and then we've got Bobby Burrell, and that is everyone that is in the back room right now. Shawn, when you started talking about Kevin Doty, I saw he just started grinning. Big wide grin. There, he's doing it again. So good to see you, Kevin. Kevin bought me a beer at the National in 2016. It was about 11 a.m. I remember. I'm like, yeah, let's have a beer. And it was delicious because it was with Kevin. Yeah. All right, let's bring on Jay-Z. You ready, buddy? Thumbs up. How's it going? How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Awesome.
It's been a long time.
I know. Too long since we've rubbed shoulders at the expo.
Yeah. I gotta say, I echo your sentiments exactly. That the hobby, or the lifestyle, as Jeremy's calling it, is greatly about the people. I value the people, the friendships. Most of my closest friends have come from, you know, meeting at card shows, etc., etc. We have a little group out west here we call the Mafia, and it started from a show in, I can't even remember now, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, and we're all inseparable, and best part of the hobby.
No doubt, man. No, and you know what? It's like even you and me, we became buddies through message boards, Hobby Insider, probably through the expo.
Yeah.
I mean, you come to the expo, you actually hang out at my booth, and you allow me to walk around. You take care of my booth a little bit. You sell some cards for me, or at least you could sell some more, buddy. You could be. I kid, but so what? Do you have any Gretzky cards you want to share? Show a story, anything?
I have a bunch of graded, like low grade stuff that's just kind of in my 70 to 90 pile that's there that I bought because they were guys that I liked watching when I was growing up as a youngster watching hockey. I guess one of the best stories I can tell you is my dad had seasons tickets to the Canucks, and all the times that Gretzky came and just destroyed the Canucks, I never got a chance to go see the Oilers because those were tickets that were given to high-profile clients or whatever. And the one game I got to see him play was when he was with St. Louis. So really strange. Like I think it was GM Place, one of the first years it was open, and seeing him in the Blues uni, like totally weird. But yeah, that's the only time I got to see him, and I don't think he had a great game. I did, however, get to see the Canada Cup games in Vancouver. There was one pre-tournament, Canada, Russia, and then one tournament game, Canada, USA. So that was amazing to see that. I do have one Gretzky card I can share. The last expo that we were at, or that I was at, I think it was 18, 17 spring, something like that. I did a deal with the guy, and I picked up this guy. And it's an O-Pee-Chee, and I haven't got it graded, but with my loop, I'd say it's an 8 for sure. It's got razor sharp corners, and it was a good investment at the time. It was I paid full price for it, what it was back then, but very partial to not grading it. It's kind of nice having it raw. Like echo the same comments. You can open it up and touch it once in a while, that kind of thing. It's fun.
But do you actually ever open it up and touch it?
I haven't, but I like.
But you can.
Now that he said that, it's like we should open it up. Like, let's open it up now.
Why don't you go ahead and do that right now, Jay-Z? Open it up and touch it for us. Let's see.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Let's see if he'll do it. Will Jay-Z? Oh, it's open.
No,
higher up so we can see it. Higher up so we can see it.
Doesn't want to come.
Don't, buddy. I'm messing with you. You don't. Oh, he's doing it. There it is. This guy's got some nerve. Okay, look at that. See, that's a nice copy. It's nice to see it in your finger. Yeah, that looks really nice.
It's a great copy. Yeah. Again, the value kind of is a sidebar. It's just it came out of a conversation with Jeremy. I used to be gung-ho for this guy, and that's all I ever collected was this guy, right? Luongo. I had a big Luongo collection. And Jeremy went vintage, and I kind of followed him down the path. And I went really old school, so I'm doing like 50 sets of Parkhurst now, and I've fallen in love with it. But I grabbed a bunch of Gretzky's, and I grabbed a bunch of Lemieux, just listening to Jeremy, and it's a good financial decision. So
glad to hear it, man. Yeah. We've had lots of lengthy discussions about which cards to pick up, and I'm always happy to help you out because I know you're a passionate collector for sure, man.
Well, it was a pleasure, gentlemen.
Thanks for joining, Jay-Z.
Hopefully we can see each other for real in November. That would be lovely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. All right, pal.
Take care.
See you.
Have a good one. Thanks,
man. All right, there he goes. That was fun. All right. So before we get to the next person we're going to bring on, the order is Tim Maron, Kevin Doty, Rich, Kevin Mack, and Bobby Burrell. I just want to go to a couple of quick comments here, if I may. Soccer says, want to share my favorite Gretzky quote. It's not a challenge. It's not a challenge. Sorry. Yeah, no, it's not a challenge. It's not a challenge to me. It's fun. I do it because I love it. I go out there and I say, I want the puck, and you guys get your own puck. I want the puck. You get your own puck. That one's mine. The game puck is mine. I love it. That's pretty funny. Crazy99 says, hey, all from the Middle East. Hope you are all well, enjoying the show as usual. Marcel here. Marcel from the Middle East. It's really cool when we have viewers from faraway countries. So thanks for joining from the Middle East, Marcel. Good to have you. Scott Barr says, sadly, I remember sticking many Gretzky rookies in the spokes growing up as my brother loved the Oilers, and I am a diehard Devils fan, the Colorado Rockies before that. So due to that, I put them in the bike to annoy him. He reminds me of that all the time. The bike sounded sweet. Yeah, that makes you feel better. That's hilarious. Good story, Scott. All right. Let's get ready for Tim Maron. Tim, are you ready to come on? He's ready. There we go. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Tim.
How's it going?
Hey, Tim.
Hey, nice to talk to you guys.
How are you tonight?
Good. I had to get on with you guys. You guys have been friends online. I had to talk to you in real person, in real life now. So how's everything doing?
It's like I know your name so well. I see your name all the time, communicating and in Facebook groups. That's what's fun about this, is getting to actually meet people. So yeah, nice to meet you, Tim.
I had to add an American to the conversation. I think I'm the first American on here tonight.
Oh, right on. Well, good. Glad to. So tell us, where are you and what's your Gretzky history?
So I'm in Buffalo. So kind of random, nowhere near Edmonton. But just a kid of the 80s, 90s, hockey player myself. Grew up, wanting to follow and be, like the best player ever. As much not that I ever came close, but Gretzky was the best. And at the time I started following, he was pretty much a Kings Blues player at that point. And then got to a couple games down at the Odd in Buffalo and followed him right up until retirement. And I'd say it was probably during the Rangers years where I started collecting. I started getting some cash and hitting eBay and, grabbing cards and memorabilia and things like that. So and ever since then, just, growing the collection as much as possible. As you can see in the background, there's just a couple shelves of things, but downsized a little bit in recent years and primarily sticking to PSA, as high grade as I can get. 79 to 99. I don't go beyond the retirement year. It's just too much. There's too many cards. So
no doubt.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah. And actually the jersey, I don't know which way I have to go that way. It's kind of an interesting story. I thought I'd talk about that real quick. Just a replica jersey that somebody was hawking on eBay. They make these, faux jerseys, but the 11 goes back to his youth. So kind of interesting. I dragged my then, I think we were married, my wife at the time, still my wife, to a golf tournament in Sarnia, Ontario. It was a Mike Weir classic. They had all the celebrities and Wayne was there and Rick Tocchet and guys like that. Brought that jersey with me. We were standing in the gallery. I was probably, 3 rows deep. It was a practice tee and Wayne's out there taking some shots. And I put the 11 on my arm and just stuck it up there and, into the front of the crowd as best I could. Waited, hoping for a chance that maybe he'd see it and grab it. Sure enough, the 1 stuck out like a sore thumb to him. He's like, why would somebody have a 1? He pulled it off my arm. And again, I'm a couple of rows deep in the gallery, pulled it out, held it up, and then kind of looked through the crowd to find out, who had it, where did it come from. So I kind of sheepishly raised my hand. Where'd you get this? And I didn't want to tell him eBay. I just said I found it online. I didn't want him to go and track somebody down for, selling hawking jerseys and things like that. I said, I heard that you liked Gilbert Perreault when you were a kid. Obviously, we all know he liked Howe as well, but Brantford, Buffalo, Gilbert being a great player back then, he was also a fan of his. So for maybe 1 or 2 years, he wore number 11. So yeah, he took it, put a decent signature on it, but it poured horribly for that golf tournament. So I covered that thing up, put it in my backpack, and it made it out safely. So now it's a cool keepsake. And short little brief conversation. My first meeting with him, I've had 2 since then, but that was the first, and it was just cool to have your arm out there. He grabbed it right off my arm and signed it nicely. So it was cool.
That's
very cool
really
story.
Cool. Yeah. I have to ask, since you collect his playing days cards up to 99, do you have a StarQuest Gold?
I don't. Did you see it pop up on the page the other day? Yeah,
I did.
I know. I got a lot of messages about it. Guys who want it and guys who want to allow me to razz it in the group. For those who don't know, we're talking about the Wayne Gretzky collecting group, and I don't like to have razzes in the group. I said, we can promote razzes and you can recruit and take them over to another page, but I just, being the admin of the page, there's enough headaches as it is. I don't want to oversee razzes and things like that, but but there's a lot of interest in it. In that gentleman's who showed it. I don't think he's selling. I think he's just showing it off. But yeah, there's a lot of people chasing that one. So I don't have it. No.
Do you have the run for the cup?
No. What is that? What year is that?
It's the Black Diamond. I think it's 97 or 98. Okay. It's the one out of 100 with like that one just sold on eBay like a couple days ago. You never see them. But yeah, it just sold for like $1,500 or something like that. It's, serial numbered out of 100.
Yeah, I guess I should have clarified. I kind of stick to basic and collector. So I'm trying to, always grow the ranking in the registry and things like that. So yeah, the overall set for 1999 up to 1999, there's even far too many for me in that case. So yeah, I kind of stick to the base and some of the collector issues, some of the fun ones, but.
And then the non-card items like we can see in the background.
Yeah. And actually, even some of the ones I pulled out aside here real quick, because I know you have other guests. This is kind of a fun one. When he was the co-owner of the Belleville Bulls, kind of oversized PSA 9 Mack guy. Another kind of oddball Hull Olympics card. Yeah, I know you've seen that one, Shawn. And then not hard to find, but I love them slabbed. Again, being a 90s kid, power play cards. Always look cool, in a slab. So those are slick.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of anything slabbed. I love seeing it all in the slabs.
It just adds something to it. This is a tough one because of the black borders. The Kings put out this what is it called? 1993 25th anniversary of the Forum. So they put athletes who played in the Forum back then, and the Gretzky obviously made the cut. So a tough one to find in high grade because of the black borders. But things like that. Obviously rookies, everyone's got those, I guess. But
just a fan. Just cool yourself down with the Gretzky rookies.
I only have up to a 5 in the O-Pee-Chee and an 8 in tops, but someday maybe I could grow to a 6, but not right now. It's too crazy. So
yeah. Well, right on. Hey, I'm super glad you came on, Tim. It's just you're definitely someone that I'm aware of and have communicated with, and so it's just really nice to meet you. And I hope to meet you in person at Expo National.
Yep.
Yeah. Will you go to the National at the end of July?
National would be fun. My uncle, he's a big collector. He's actually into like boxing cards and things like that. He's gone for years, so he and I might tag up and go to that. But honestly, the up in Toronto would be great. Up at the airport would be awesome once things open back up. I mean, I'm missing going over the border just as much as you guys are missing coming down here too. So I can't wait for everything to open back up. But no, it's been great talking to you, Jeremy. The show is amazing, and
thank you,
Shawn. I can't thank you enough for helping all along the way and with the group and things like that. So it's great chatting with you.
Likewise, great to put a face to the name outside of a picture on Facebook.
Exactly. All right, Tim.
Cool,
thanks
guys.
a lot, pal. We'll see you online, and hopefully
have a good night, guys.
All right, thanks.
All right, so we are going to go from one American to another. We're on a bit of a run here. The next person we're going to bring on is Kevin Doty from Minnesota. Kevin, give me 1 sec. I just want to do a couple quick comments here. Willie T says, just a feeling, but I think the recent record-setting Gretzky was purchased from one of the marginal share or group investors. Interesting. Could be. Daniel Busby, there's nothing like having fans at games. Yeah, no doubt about it. And this is actually Eric Meyer says, I used to own the highest graded BGS 9.5 O-Pee-Chee Gretzky. I had 2 10s and 2 9.5s. Could very congrats, Eric. Too bad you don't still own it, but I'm sure you put into other great cards. And the Currency Project joins us and says, this is great. Loving everyone's stories and backgrounds. And the backgrounds are fun tonight. Hey, Shawn, yours is great. And I'm very far behind in the comments. I apologize for that, everybody. But let's go ahead. And while I have everyone's attention, I want to mention next Saturday, our guest is going to be Nat Turner, who recently acquired Collectors Universe and PSA. You see it streaming in the ticker right now, but I want to mention that out loud. Nat Turner will be our guest next Saturday for episode number 100. So that's pretty cool. I kind of planned that I tried to make sure that in that episode number 100 would have a special guest. I think it's fair to say he's a special guest considering he's the new owner and of PSA. We're partners with a couple of people that he's done that with. But I'm excited to have him on the show, and we'll see what he has to say, and we're gonna ask him some timely questions. So be sure to join us next Saturday on Sports Cards Live for that episode. All right, Kevin, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to come join. There he is. Here he is. Kevin Doty from Minnesota. How are you, bud?
Guys, first of all, thank you for the kind words earlier. Shawn and Jeremy, you guys, two of the finest.
Three of the finest then. Let's add you to that because you're great.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody knows about my collection. I don't collect Gretzky rookie card, but you know, Shawn is on. I had to say hi to Shawn. Jeremy, I just had to be a part of this. So you guys will have to forgive me. I'm kind of at work, so to speak. But I'll try to kind of jump in the conversation here.
Sure. Yeah. So you had posted in the chat that you wanted to ask some sort of question. What was the question?
The vintage. I wanted to ask both of yours about the price spikes that we're starting to see in vintage, certain vintage, particularly pre-war. I've noticed Vezina really taking a spike, and C56s. If you're talking cardboard, your C56s and C55s are really starting to see a tick. Are you guys seeing that as well?
Well, I am. I actually just on Wednesday I covered the PWCC hockey auctions that were ending, and we saw, I think it was a PSA 3 Vezina sold for just shy of $10,000 US. I mean, that was very high for a 3. We had seen 5 sell for less than that about a year ago, maybe even more recent than that. So I did notice that. I was watching some other vintage, pre-war hockey cards selling, and yeah, I've noticed it as well. Now, not across every card, but the important cards, the Hall of Famers, and not only the rookies, but even like the Vezina run, the Morens run. These cards, the Morenzes did really well on Wednesday. So did the Vezinas. There were some 20. There was a 23 and a 24, I believe, that sold, the Pattersons. So yeah, I've noticed that as well. And you mentioned your collection. I know you've put together a beautiful set of C55s, and I think PSA 5 or stronger, if I'm correct. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, it's number 9 on the master registry.
Wow.
It was, and my emphasis was the big one, of course, is the Vezina, and I was able to find a very beautiful Vezina. So I wanted to hit the other heavies in that set: the Phantom Malones, the Taylors, the Smale variations, and I wanted to get those in 5s and above. So, yeah, that's where that came from. By any chance, did you notice the final on the Vezina 7 on Golden?
I don't recall.
59, something like that, in the 50s.
Yeah. Okay. And
a little lower than I thought it was going to go, actually.
Yeah.
Truth be speaking, I did too. I forecasted that at a 6-figure card, or one of the vintage cards that have a potential of 6 figures.
Yeah.
The other one was that Howe 8.5, which was absolutely a stunning card. And his cards have really started to gone astronomical. I want to say probably because of the low population, just the condition sensitive Parkhurst set. So I was rather pleased to see the Howe go as high as it did.
The uptick is definitely across the board, because over the last 3 PWCC auctions, I've probably unloaded 200 graded rookie cards, and some of them I hadn't owned that long. And I submitted some of them thinking, yeah, I probably paid high when I bought that thing, and then realized 20-30% above what I paid at the end of the day. So, there's definitely an upswing. In the couple of hundred cards I've submitted, I haven't lost a point on one of them.
Yeah, and just to kind of go off of that, Shawn, you have been so instrumental for changing my life. I don't want to get in depth, but what you and other collectors across the whole gamut have really done for me as an individual. I've been able to amass a very good vintage collection, a very solid one. I think, Jeremy, I don't know if you're very familiar with my collection. Shawn is a key part of that. And I've put together a collection, and I've been more or less feeding off of Shawn, giving them to me. And I shouldn't say giving, but other people were like, "No, Kevin, I realize, that's a white whale to you. You can have it." And it's some cards that I'm quite honestly just shocked that I was able to accommodate. And Shawn, you're the main reason for that. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Glad to be part of it. Like I said earlier, it's about the relationships, and you get what you give a lot of time, buddy.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And what you did was really, really life changing. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that awesome.
Yeah. Not to get overly emotional, but I never really. I don't have much through it, but you have been able to support me with a way for my wife and I to really enjoy ourselves.
That's awesome. Thanks for bringing it and sharing it.
I'm glad. I'm really I'm honored to provide the platform for you, Kevin, to share those words. That's really nice, man. And I'm a little. I have a bit of an idea about your collection. I know your C50. I see the cards you look for. You've come to me for certain cards over the years, so I know what sets you're pursuing and you're building.
With that Hainsworth 5, I know you are, but I was able to get a Hainsworth 4 from the guy to the right of you. So.
Yeah, I've got
4.5 for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my collection it is all vintage, pre-war, but yeah, you're talking about Moran's. I was able to get his through a gentleman by the name of Mike Isa. Sent it in to be graded. It came back a 4. It's a beautiful rookie, Juliet. And then the C56s was the most iconic card of all time is the Cyclone Taylor to me, where he's got, the hands crossed, don't mess with me. And then the first goalie card, which I got from Shawn. 2 cards that I thought are very undervalued because of the rich history of the set and everything else. So,
okay, man.
Awesome.
Well, Kevin, great to see you. I haven't seen you in almost 2 years. Since the only time I've ever seen you in person, but it's great to see you and communicate with you here tonight. I'm glad you joined, man. And I hope to see you at the National in July. Will you be there if and when it happens?
If and when, I will give it a valiant effort.
All right. Good stuff, man. Well, I hope to see you there. Thanks for joining. And yeah, good to see you, pal.
Nice hat. That's my company.
Love this hat, man. I love it. All right. Take care, guys.
Thanks, Kevin.
See you later, man.
All right. Awesome, Kevin. Okay. So before we go to our next, the next person, I don't even want to call them guests. It's just like friends, and it's just good to have everybody. So before we do bring on our next friend, I do want to couple more quick comments. Eric Perrick says, "Lifestyle, you nailed it." Thank you, Eric. Yes, definitely. I guess the Bruins won the game tonight. Congrats to the Bruins. And it was a hat trick. Nice to see the hats hitting the ice again. Yeah, there's fans in the stands, so they can throw their hats when the hat trick happens. Chi-Town Hustler, Wayne is probably the only player I've got to sign in 4 different cities. That's really cool. Very cool. Very cool. Habs won in overtime, so there we go. We're going to a game. They still need to win 2 more, but they're on a roll right now. That's for sure. Yep, Habs in overtime. Rich says, very cool story, Tim. Don't see Gretzky signing number 11 every day. That goes back to our last guest. All right. Thanks, everybody, for all the comments. Appreciate it. We are now going to go to Rich. Rich, are you ready to come on? Rich is ready. All right. And then we got Kevin Mack, who's been waiting patiently. Appreciate you, Kevin. And same with you, Bobby. All right. Let's go to Rich. Rich, how's it going?
Good. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Matt. I like what you got. And I like that right there.
Yeah. I only got 2 Gretzky pieces in my whole collection. I'm not really a Gretzky collector, but I like Gretzky. And my other one is this limited 9.
That's nice.
All-Star royalty from the Cup.
What year of Cup was that from?
07, 08.
Yeah, they haven't done All-Star royalties, I don't think, ever since then. I believe that's the only year they ever did them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should bring it back.
Yeah, they should. Maybe they will. You never know. They're always looking to do new things and make old things new again. So who knows? Maybe we'll see them. But Any Gretzky story? I know you're a guy who does a lot of through the mail stuff. Have you ever done a through the mail with Gretzky?
Not with Gretzky. I heard he maybe uses auto pen, or maybe like a secretary signs it or something like that. So no cigar there. But my favorite Gretzky memory is actually like, for those of you who don't know, I like traveling North America to meet celebrities in person. That's kind of my thing. And I know that Gretzky has had some public appearances in Canada, but it's always a dogfight to try and get, an autograph or a picture with him in Canada. So a few years ago, Steiner had a private event that you could pay into, and it would just be like a small cocktail party in New York. And so I knew that was my chance to get a picture with Gretzky. So like 2 weeks I had to plan this thing, and I just flew down to New York, took a couple of days off, and he had a nice kind of small gathering. Kelly Chase interviewed him, and he told some stories, and it was really great. And then I did get to meet him and get a nice picture with him. Right there.
That's really nice.
Awesome. Very cool, man. Very cool.
That's awesome. I've actually had Gretzky here for an event. He came and spent 3 days as my guest for an event I did here a few years ago. And Kelly Chase emceed for us as well. I did 3 events here, and he emceed them all. Just an amazing individual. He's done a lot of Gretzky's events. They're pretty tight.
Right on. Right on. Well, Rich, anything else to share? Or if you're good, then we can keep on trucking along here. But I do appreciate your patience, because you waited quite a while. So hopefully you're enjoying watching in the meantime.
Yeah, great show, Jer. Good to see you, Shawn, and hopefully we'll see both of you in person in the fall.
November.
Good, man. Good to see you, Rich.
Take care.
Talk to you later, buddy. All right. Thank you to Rich. All right. So our next guest is going to be Kevin Mack. Then we got Bobby Burrell. Then we got Michael Hamm in the background. Thanks for joining, Michael. We'll get to you very shortly. Before we go to Kevin Mack, a couple more quick comments. I want to keep up with the comments. As you guys know, I tend to do that. Steve Menzie says, expect that to set another viewing record. I don't know what you're what is he referring to? Do you know? No? All right. Thank you. I'm sure it was something we talked about. That's about 15 minutes old. Oh, he's talking about the Nat Turner episode. Eric Perry says, congrats on landing Nat Turner for episode 100. Thank you, Eric. Really appreciate that. PSA Slab Guy says next week is a not miss with Nat Turner. Well, yeah, Nat owns PSA, and this guy has PSA in his username, so that makes sense that it would be a not miss for you. Appreciate you. Darren, welcome. Jeremy with the Perpetual Clout lands Nat Turner. Boom. Yeah, I'm very happy to have Nat coming on, of course. Darcy Ravlik from BC, my buddy. Hello, Darcy. Hope you're doing great too, bud. And Darcy, if you've got a Gretzky card or something you want to share or talk about, feel free to come on. I'll put the link back in the ticker in a couple of seconds here. This was a comment about Kevin Doty's Facebook post with his collection. Sanderson Door, my favorite Gretzky card is the 81 O-Pee-Chee 125 Super Action. Yeah, that is a very cool card for sure. Habs need to win one more. So that series is now tied 3-3, or is it? It's tied 3-3. Yeah. Right. So game 7. That's amazing. That's amazing. 23 Airness. Is this a Gretzky tribute or a Shawn tribute? It's a bit of both. 23 Airness. And yeah, Nat Turner, Steve, thank you. We got Nat Turner coming on. Okay, and we're caught up in the comments. Wonderful. All right. Well, that's what happens when you bring on the Wayne Gretzky of Gretzky Collectors. Let's see the tattoo again, Kev. Sorry, Shawn. It might be a little bit of time since we have some new people. So when you bring on the Wayne Gretzky of Wayne Gretzky Collectors, he even has the amazing likeness on his arm. It's going to be a little bit about him, but that's okay. All right. Kevin Mack, you ready to join? Kevin Mack is ready. Let's bring him on. There he is. Kevin, welcome to the show.
How are you, gents?
Awesome.
Doing well. How are you tonight?
Very good. Very good.
So is that a Metallica Wayne Gretzky shirt you're wearing?
Yeah, from the Edmonton show.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. So what do you have? You have a story to share with us, a card to show? What do you got?
I got a little bit of everything. I, like lots of your previous guests, I grew up in Saskatchewan and never had a chance to see Wayne live. Picked Edmonton as my favorite team instead of Calgary or Winnipeg. And I decided, since I never got to see him live, I was going to go to his fantasy camp. So in 2008, I went down to Phoenix and got to participate, and went once, and our team happened to win. So I got him to sign my jersey to say "Great Win." So I thought this was kind of a cool keepsake from the event.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and then they were doing rings at the time, so I had the opportunity to buy the ring as well. So
that's the only other one. I have one of those, and that's the only other one I've ever seen.
Oh,
That's
really?
nice.
Yep.
That is nice.
Yeah, it's very cool. Lots of
They're
people
beautiful.
ask questions about it. So for cards, I don't have tons. I only have one that was ever hard signed. It was this one here.
Brilliant.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, I've got a couple
from the cup.
Yes, 13-14. I've got 2 rookies unsigned. That's all I've ever owned.
That's
and
all.
Then,
nice.
Yeah, they're okay. And then for an odd card that's fairly common, I just thought it was really unique, very different from everything else, was this one.
Oh,
Yeah, that is kind of neat.
I don't know why.
It's nice to see these sort of odd, we saw the craft card earlier, the cards that Tim Maron showed, the power play cards you don't see often featured by collectors, right? No one, like, I don't see a lot of that kind of stuff on, at least on the groups that I'm in on Facebook, or people showing that kind of stuff on Instagram, or elsewhere, really. So it's nice to see collectors that are chasing kind of non-mainstream items too, and that not just chasing, but proud to own them, and you know, and want to showcase them. So I appreciate you for that, Kevin. That's really cool.
Yeah,
I really like your artwork in the back wall there.
I've got 3 of the 4. I'm missing one. I'm missing the ice wine one.
They're great pieces.
They are. They're out.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, anything else, or is that it?
That's all I brought out. There's so much good stuff, and you've got other people waiting, so I don't want to take too much time.
Yeah, we've got 2 people in the back still waiting to come on. So I do, if everybody else who's in the audience right now in the chat, you see the that's the link, the StreamYard.com with all those characters after. That's the link to come join. We got 2 guys in the background right now. We're gonna have time for probably 2 more after that. So if anyone else wants to join, please feel free to pop into the studio. Kevin, Mack, thank you so much, pal. It's great to meet you. Great to see you. Thanks for joining the show.
Have a great night, guys.
You too. All right. Thank you to Kevin Mack. Bobby Burrell is going to be next to join us. Before we bring out Bobby, I very want to quickly, Hockey Guy says, if Toronto loses the series, I can't wait for them to blame Joe Thornton for it. Luigi says, no, Sheldon Keefe will take a lot of heat for that stupid challenge. So I guess there was a challenge that was lost, gave up a power play, probably got scored against. That kind of thing that probably happened. B. Roy, I'm surprised we haven't seen any Gretzky Pro Set cards yet. Yeah, the 2,000 point card for sure. And GMA says that Kevin sounds like Don Cherry. Too funny. Too funny. All right. Bobby, you ready? He gives a nod. No thumbs up, just a nod. All right, here we go. There it is. Oh. You got that funny thing happening that happens with you. Go out, come back in. Go out, come back in. We'll give you a second here. All right, we'll let him come back in. He'll be right back. So we'll give him a quick second there. I see. Yeah, we had that happens to Bobby when he joins some live streams, when he goes on to the Because I'm Carlos show. That it's often how he starts it off. I see you there, Michael Hamm. We'll wait for Bobby to come back, though. We'll keep the order, and we'll then bring him back on. So we will wait for him. In the meantime, let's take a minute now, Shawn, and talk about. So Gretzky has now left his position with the Edmonton Oilers, and he's taken a job with TNT. What impact does that have, in your opinion, on, not just Gretzky's cards, but the hockey cards overall in the hobby? Like, do you think that's going to have an impact?
Well, I'm not sure. The one thing it's going to do is give us a lot more visibility. Wayne for most of us, we see him the odd time on an interview, or they do a cameo of him at an Oilers game, but we don't see him a lot. Now he's going to be a daily fixture, chiming in on the daily, the daily flow of hockey and the sport and probably other sports too. So the visibility is going to be exponentially higher. Whether or not that'll affect people's interest in him or the collectability of him, I'm not too sure, because he is a whole generation beyond his playing career and whatnot, and us guys that are rooted into collecting him experienced him for the most part, or we're set in our ways anyway. I don't think it's going to bring new people to collecting him or having an interest in him, but for us guys who appreciate him, it's certainly a lot more visibility. We'll get to tune in and hear his opinion on the game and what's going on a daily basis. And that's kind of cool. Hopefully he succeeds at it. Personally, I'm not sure that it's his forte. I really don't. I'm not really sure he's going to be good at it. I really don't. I think he knows the game, obviously. He can talk about the game, but it takes a certain kind of personality to sit in front of the camera and banter back and forth with somebody about it. So it's going to be interesting. I really hope he's extremely successful at it, because, I think it's great for us guys. We value his opinion on what's happening in the game, and it's going to be good for us. But hopefully he kicks.
Yeah. I was going to say, we'll find out if he knows anything about the sport. Once he's talking about it all the time, right? Okay, very quickly, Hockey Guy says, does he have the personality of a Shaq or a Charles Barkley? They're a part of what makes the NBA show so good on TNT, for sure. Okay, let's bring back Bobby Burrell.
Okay.
There he is. No more.
Finally, there we go. How are you guys?
There you go. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, it's good. Good. Well, the Leafs lost, so whatever. I'll have to live with it.
Well, you got one more shot, right? Can't lose 3 in a row. That would be, oh gosh, that would not be good for Toronto.
Yeah, I've been used to that for about 53 years now. So,
So what sort of Gretzky story or hobby angle do you have to discuss tonight, Bobby?
Well, I just want to say hi, Shawn. I guess we were supposed to be on number 68, so it took me 31 to catch up to finally being on with you. So there we go. I have a quick story and a question. Which would you like first?
Story.
Quick story. Okay. So my Gretzky story. I don't know if you've ever heard it before, but I played at Ted Reeves Hockey Arena, which is just a house league team, and we had an all-star team. And in 1979, we went down to Flint, Michigan, on a billet system where you'd stay at somebody's house, play their team, and then you come back and they play us here. So on the Saturday, Gretzky was playing in Detroit, and he came by the pro shop, and my dad and he bought me some sticks, and I got Gretzky to sign it in 79. So there, I got the stick. Now, this is the funny part of the story. Because Gretzky wasn't so famous in 1979, the stick was in my room in the corner, and we're out playing ball hockey, and I broke my stick. I didn't have a stick. So anyways, I'm 15. Okay. Leave me. So anyways, I broke the blade. I wore down the autograph. You can actually still see 99 on there, but you can't see Gretzky, unfortunately, on the stick. So can I get that authenticated to 99?
Sure.
It says early 99, I'll tell you that.
You should send me a picture. I'd like to see that.
I will send you a picture. I have one here. So that's my little story. So I have a real close connection to Gretzky, I guess, in his rookie year. I did see him play a couple times at Maple Leaf Gardens, but I didn't go there too many times. So
that's interesting, because you got to see him back in 79. Most of us that met him through, even in the later stages of his career or post-career. So to have met him when he was in his youth, not even in the NHL yet, that's pretty sweet. Not many of us can say that.
Yeah, there wasn't a group of people around him. He just wanted to say, let's see Canadians go. Let's beat the Americans. And we whipped them pretty good. Yeah. I think I got a special award on that. I scored 5 goals and 6 assists or something like that in that tournament, or the one game. So I got a special medallion or something like that. So anyways, a nice little history, fun for me. And a question, I guess this one will go to Shawn. There we go. So my friend has a Gretzky sheet. I haven't been following them lately. What are they kind of going for?
The uncut sheet of his cards?
Yeah, he's got the whole full set, and it's got the 3 blue lines on it, as he says.
Yeah. Well, it's a print. You know what? I don't know, because uncut sheets is something that I've never owned one. And I never followed the market even. I know they went up a lot. I don't know, Jeremy, if you've seen any, but if I'm not mistaken, there was some for sale a while ago for like several $1,000s. Because we all know that they're probably not going to remain uncut. And they're probably going to find their way to some grading company who
starts with a B.
Yeah. So, you know, people are going to pay a lot more money for it now, and they're going to use the newer amazing technologies to have it cut, and they're going to gamble. They're going to spend the $3,000 or $4,000 for that sheet and take that chance. But I think that's what's happening.
3,000 or 4,000, is that it?
You know,
I assumed it was up to $20,000 for a set of sheets.
If it is, I would be blown away, but not surprised.
It'll depend on the condition, of course, as I'm sure we recognize.
Of just one card.
Yeah,
that's right, though. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, it's in a good spot, so it's not so bad.
I was just going to say, yeah, it's not an end card anyway, right, on the sheet.
I find surface is the issue with these sheets, right? Because the people roll them, and then you've got the friction between the different
front and back. So, a little dust, a little scratching, and that'll happen. So, anyways, that's my story, and that's my question, and I'm on 99. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm glad, Bobby. Thanks for being a part of it. I'm glad to have you on again, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, but no problem.
You're a Friday night regular on Because I'm Carlos. So if you guys want to see more of Bobby, check him out there. And good to have you, pal. Good to see you.
Good seeing you guys.
All right, man. Take care.
I will do that. Okay, take care.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
All right, Bobby Burrell, hockey historian, writer of a few 3 books by now, I believe, and all documenting the history of the hobby in pictures, which is very nice. All right, next up we have Michael Hamm. You ready, Michael? He's been waiting a long time patiently. We do have Terry Fortune, and I see JM in the background. Oh, and we have Brian Hunt has also joined. All right, so that's probably going to be everybody that we're going to have time for this evening. We'll see how these next 3 go, or these next 4 guys go, but let's bring on Michael Hamm. What is happening?
How y'all doing today?
Good.
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm getting tired over here in Tampa, Florida.
Hey, we have another American. It's good to have you, man.
No problem, man.
You watch the show, you comment. I appreciate you, man. It's good to have you.
Wonderful show you have, and it'll just keep growing. And one day you'll never see my comment because it'll go by so fast. But
I hope not. I want to see your comments, man.
Hopefully they'll still get in there. But growing up here in Tampa, Florida, we had no hockey whatsoever. So until the Lightning basically became a franchise, I knew who Wayne Gretzky was, Mario Lemieux, but I didn't really follow it. Obviously, once we got a franchise here, a new sport, fresh, something different than the Bucks, basically, I just adopted it immediately. I went to the very first preseason game. I have a puck from that. I went to the very first game against the Flyers. I have a puck from that. I went to their first playoff game, and just after that, it just took me by storm. And it's like one of those things I wish I grew up with, and I didn't have that opportunity because, by the time I had it, I was 13, 14 years old. Long story short, with the Wayne Gretzky thing, I started opening up 91, 92 Upper Deck. And he had a hologram card in there. And, I never heard it through the mail. But I was always told, hey, if you send a letter to a player asking for an autograph, saying why you like them and stuff like that, you may get something back. So I ended up sending him a 2-page letter that I hand wrote, to Kings, basically to their whatever their stadium is at that time. And 3 months later, I get a letter back, and it's obviously my envelope I'd already self-addressed and stamped and everything like that, and came back through the mail, and it was beat up. It was not pretty, but at the end of the day, I'm like, cool, I got a piece of mail back from somebody. Let's see what this is. And at the end of the day, I ended up with a holographic Wayne Gretzky autograph from a personalized letter that I sent to him. And there's not a lot of holograms like this that are autographed by Wayne Gretzky, even though it's not in the greatest shape. And it's just something I greatly enjoy. I love holograms to begin with. But having it on that card and getting to have that as my own, and I have like zero reason to want to sell it ever. I mean, even being beat up, it's like, it's mine. And now I have no reason to ever get rid of this. And just having the greatest hockey player ever to accept a letter from me and sign it, whether he even read the letter, doesn't matter to me. I can think he read it. And I got that card back. And that means a lot to me. And it's just so great how well hockey players accept their fans and really give back to their fans, because they do it like no other sport. And that's one of the things I learned young, coming into the sport, getting introduced to it and getting something like that back. Is just a big deal at that time, because there was 2 other players I sent stuff to at that same time. And I actually got those back too, which was Brett Hall, which had a hologram also in that same year. And then Timu Solani didn't sign my card, but he signed a picture and sent it back to me, where they probably signed 1,000 and sent them to whoever was asking. But, Wayne Gretzky getting something back like that, basically, we always say the Michael Jordan of a sport, because that's kind of like that pinnacle. But what's funny is he was before Michael Jordan. So it's almost like Michael Jordan's the Wayne Gretzky of basketball, but being here in America, nobody says that. But I accept it as that, because I understand it and I get it, especially through that time frame where we had so many great players in sports from the basically early 80s through the 90s that transcended sports as we know it today as GOATs, and then paved the way for those other ones. Being younger, I didn't get to see a Gordie Howe or, the other guys. Phil Esposito's a local guy here in Tampa. I met him plenty of times. And just seeing these players and how well they adapt and enjoy the fans in hockey, it makes the sport so special. And getting something like that just great in my life.
I'm just, you see my eyes. I'm just writing out that quote. I'm just writing out that quote that Michael Jordan is the Wayne Gretzky of basketball. Because at
the end of the day, that's how it is.
That's funny. I've never thought about it that way, but it is pretty correct. The card that you had, the hologram, that autograph looked really nice, actually. From what I could quickly see,
it was nice about a hologram card. Obviously, you have to turn it into light to see it. When you don't see it, you basically have like this solid foil card with a sleek, clean autograph. They autographed so well. I actually tested one before I even sent it to them, just to make sure that it would stick to the card. I don't do a lot of TTM stuff, but stuff I do send, I always want to make sure that if I do get it back, that the Sharpie or whatever they would sign it with would stick to the card, because that's a mistake some people make when they do TTMs.
Yeah, your visual just went all kind of wonky about 15 seconds ago, and I saw it in the back room, but we can hear you fine. So I guess, Michael, man, it's your story is one of my favorites tonight. Your passion is evident, and man, it's just good to kind of meet you face to face here for the first time. So even though right now you look a little bit like what was that show in the 80s where that guy came on and he was all electronic, I don't know how to say it, but
digitized.
Yeah, he looks like a hologram right now. You look like a hologram, Michael Hamm.
Well, I'm doing this through my phone, which I've never done before versus a computer, but so it was the first time for the phone thing.
All right, man. Well, hey, thanks for being a part of episode 99. Appreciate you watching the show week after week and commenting in the Max Headroom. Thank you, guys. You remind me of Max Headroom. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 people who knew who I was talking about. Max Headroom, exactly. And 5. Thanks, everybody. All right, Michael. Thanks for popping in.
Thanks, Mike. Love your enthusiasm.
I appreciate it, guys. Take care.
Take care, pal. All right. Thanks to Michael Hamm, otherwise known as Max Headroom. And we've got like 6 people who knew exactly what I was talking about. Thank you, guys. All right. We're going to move on to Terry Fortune. Terry, thumbs up if you're ready, and we'll bring you on. All right. Here he comes.
Hi, guys.
Fortune, in a very dark room. We can't see your face really, but that's all right, man.
There you go.
Sorry, I don't have very good lighting in my card room. It's pretty dark in here all the time.
Okay, well, listen, you're coming through with a bit of a weird sound in your mic. It's a little tinny, if I will. So I'm going to ask you to talk just a little bit quieter if you can, just for our audio. But what do you got, man? I mean, what do you got besides like 150 Wayne Gretzky rookie cards?
That's a briefcase, Jeremy.
That's all Gretzky rookies.
Yeah, I just picked up number 75.
Oh, so I was just too expert to actually have.
And as you know, I collect all different grades, and that was a PSA 1, but it was a good price, so I picked that one up.
Yeah, you've been collecting Gretzky rookies for as long as I've known you, mostly through like Hobby Insider and that, and shows. Eights, wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Could I get your address and your work schedule?
This is a special one. This is my PSA 8 that's autographed. It's not a very good auto. It's at the bottom there, and it's in a blue pen. But it's a very old autograph on the Gretzky rookie.
It's like every card you have is a Gretzky rookie. You don't even have to say it anymore, Terry. It's like on the Gretzky rookie.
I've got some other card porn to share tonight, Jared.
Sure, let's have a look.
Alrighty. Here's two of my favorites. This is a very, very tough set. 99 2000 Retro Incredible. This is the regular series one, which is super hard to find as it is. But this level 2 series, most of them are numbered at a 25. So I don't know if this was a replacement or not, but it is the level 2. It's got the different color around the border. But this one wasn't numbered at a 25. So I'm not sure if that was held back as a replacement and was released at some point. But this is a super, super tough card to find. They're all numbered at a 25, and I'm picking away at the set of that. I think I'm down to about 8 or 9 for the level 2 set. They already completed the level 1 set. One of my favorite all-time sets.
Yeah, those are really nice cards, man. Really nice.
And there's the
that's cool.
Glacial
Under Glass auto. This is a super pretty set as well. And then, of course,
Master Collection.
The Master Collection,
nice.
9.5.
Very nice. Terry, I want to ask you, man, because you've been collecting Gretzky rookies for decades by now. You've been buying them all the way through. So did you buy, did you pick any up between like December and March of that just went by?
I picked up 2 cards probably in the last year, Jay, and that one was just that PSA 1 I got last week, and another one was a KSA 4 that was just too good of a deal to pass up as well.
And so when you have 7, and I know you're going for 99 total Gretzky rookies, you have 75 now. How do you feel they are like? You're a collector. You did it because you love the card, you love the player. But when you have 75 of them, it's an investment whether you like it or not, right? So how do you?
For sure, I look at it both ways, just like you do in the hobby. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. How do you view these? Do you view them as a retirement fund? Do you view them to leave to a family member? What's your plan for 75 or 99 eventual Gretzky rookies?
I guess it'll depend on where things are in another 8 or 9 years when my daughter hits university age. And then I could see myself selling 1 or 2 around then to help fund her college fund. And
then you've still got 97.
Exactly. But yeah, it could be a nice little nest egg in retirement and maybe do some traveling with the wife down the road. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see where we're at when we get there. And it just might be left to my 2 kids as well. So
right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
I'm always curious about that.
There's my favorite.
That's amazing. Will you sell that to me?
Not a chance.
Oh my God. That's amazing. That's unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless, man. That might be one of his best cards on the planet.
Yeah, it for sure is, I think.
Anything else you want to show before we go on to the last, who I believe will be the last guest of the night, Brian Hunt's in the back room. Brian, I see you. Appreciate your patience.
No, I don't think I've got lots here, but I just dug those ones out very quick. They were kind of handy. My room is kind of a mess, as you can see behind me. I've got I lack organization, as you can tell. I lack organization and time. I don't have the time to spend that I would like to put into the hobby, but I do okay. But I waited all year for that call to be on the 99th episode, but then Shawn took over. But I was happy to be able to join you guys tonight. And, I tune in every week, Jeremy. So keep up the great work. Love your show. And hopefully we'll see you at the next Edmonton Summit when it happens.
For sure, man. Thanks for. I'm glad you're part of the show. A guy who's got that many Gretzky rookies and who's been in the hobby I've known so long. Great to have you, man. And congrats on finishing second in the first ever Sports Cards Live hockey pool this year. So, all right,
that was
man.
a lot of fun. I have to thank you for that too, though, because you guys were bad mouthing me one night in the chat, and I'm like, "What do you mean there's a limit on player transactions?"
Yeah.
I was playing the waiver pool to a T. But I definitely had to slow down near the end to save a couple of players for that last week. Well, but it was a lot of fun. I look forward to next year.
All right, man. Take care. Thanks for joining.
You too. Take care.
All right.
See you, Sean. Pleasure being on with you.
You too.
All right. Thanks, Terry, for coming on. And okay, so we are going to now move on to Brian Hunt. Brian, give me the old thumbs up if you're good to go, and we'll bring you on, and let's hear what you got to say or see what you got to show. Welcome to the show.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Jeremy, nice meeting you. Hey, Sean, nice seeing you again.
You too, buddy.
Good to meet you as well, Brian.
A little late to the party tonight, but Leafs are playing, so got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, hey, you know what? You're. It looks like unless anyone else joins last minute here, you might be bringing this thing home on episode 99. So kind of a special position. And I think, was it you that said in the chat that you'll come on? Let me go grab some cards.
Yeah, I just ran upstairs, grabbed some cards in the basement and the Rubbermaids, and picked out some stuff. So, yeah, quick backstory. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, before you show cards, can you tell us what do you collect? Why you collect Wayne Gretzky? What's the connection there?
I born and raised in Hamilton, so 20 minutes out of Brantford, right? So Gretzky was always number one around here. Did the Gretzky's game hockey camp in Brantford, and he was supposed to be there to do some autographs. Never met him. Didn't show up. And hey, Tim, nice seeing you. And yeah, I've just been collecting ever since. Took a little bit of a hiatus when I moved overseas, but then joined collecting again about 6-7 years ago. And that's really when I realized there was, all these not manufactured, but UD was doing all these Gretzky cards with sticker autos, hard autos. And I was going around at the expo looking for an autographed Gretzky card, and the guy saying, "Okay, it's $300 for a sticker, it's $800 for a hard auto." What are you talking about? There's different kinds now. Oh yeah, they send the stickers out, and I was like, okay, I bought one for $300. Can't remember what it was, but wasn't too enthusiastic about it. There are some awesome cards out there, obviously, with the sticker autos and the hard autos, but I'm more of a started chasing some of the vintage autos. So, without the 99, obviously you guys talked about some slab stuff earlier, and even without, unscratched, like some of the rarer stuff to me. So obviously he's not doing this auto anymore. They're not printing them on stickers. So to me, that's more of my PC is these real vintage autos. But
nice.
yeah, and you guys talked about the slabs earlier. We got everything from the gateways again. That's something they're not making those anymore.
That's a really nice one. That's a very bold signature.
Yeah,
never seen that piece before.
Pick that up, and
that signature is strong.
Yeah, unfaded, not faded at all, and the guy had it slabbed, obviously, so can't beat that. And some more of the fun slab stuff that I've picked up at the shows and stuff like that.
Ooh. I remember buying packs of those at the corner drugstore in whatever early to mid 80s there. Yeah, I was buying those.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then some more of the this I didn't know about this until getting back into the hobby about, like I said, 5-6 years ago, the Sportscaster, and having that slabbed and buying that at the expo. But yeah, no, cool. It's really cool seeing everyone's different interest in their personal collections and what Upper Deck's coming out with, and definitely can't wait to get back to the expos and hunting down for some stuff and touching stuff. So
it's appropriate with your name. You're
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right on. Well, I just want to say thanks for joining the show. I don't know if you've watched before, you were familiar with the show, but great to have you. And I like meeting people, and this is a great way to do it. Throughout the whole pandemic, we've, I've been in a very fortunate position here doing this show because I've different guests every Saturday. So I don't feel like I've missed a beat in terms of social activity. I've been able to meet people, interact with the chat week after week. And but it's nice to have so many different people on tonight. I haven't done a show with multiple people since episode 7, really. By multiple, I mean more than 2 or 3 since episode 7, when we had about 10 or 12 people on. So this has been great to meet guys like you, Brian, and everyone else that's been on. So I just want to thank you for hitting that link and joining us and being a part of this and sharing sharing your interest for sure.
Where'd you get that hat?
So Gretzky's game, or not Gretzky game, Ty Gretzky was doing his hockey camp here in Oakville 2 years ago, right before COVID. So I jumped on down to the rink, and they were selling memorabilia to the kids and stuff like that. So I jumped in and grabbed a bag, hat, a couple of long sleeves, and a hoodie for the Gretzky hockey camp.
Great hat. I gotta find those.
So I know a bunch of the guys were going after your hat for the fantasy camp a while ago, so I thought that this was appropriate for tonight.
Yeah, this is a fantasy camp hat too.
It is. It's I like a lot of people have either put something up in the background or worn a hat or a shirt for this episode, which is great. It'll add to it for when people watch it in syndication in the future on the channel. So all right, man. Well, hey, anything else before we do have one more person who's joined us in the studio, so we're going to bring on Dave in a few minutes here. But anything else, Brian, you want to talk about, an experience with Gretzky that you want to share, and another card you might have sitting around?
I got a couple of the tips cards around that I love to collect. They're hard to find.
Neat. Never seen that before.
They're out of 12, so searching my way to get there. But yeah, no, that's definitely a hard set to find. So always looking for those. But other than that, hopefully meet him one day. Maybe Shawn will have him up one other time and head up there. And yeah. But
all right, man.
That's it.
Hopefully we'll see you in the fall.
Hopefully everything's good to go, and we'll see you in Toronto.
Yeah, same here. Hope to see you at the Expo in Toronto, November. And but thanks for joining the show, Brian. Great to have you, and see you later.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Hey, Brian. Take care, buddy.
Nice to see you.
Take care.
Oh, that was quick, Dave. I went to remove, and he was already gone, and I guess I brought Dave on the show. So here we go. Dave is going to bring us home tonight, I believe. Dave, what's happening? How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing well. Doing well. So what, you wanted to come on? What do you got, man? Talk to us.
Okay. Well, I'll start with a quick story. I think I told you this once, Jeremy, but when I was a kid in Winnipeg and the Oilers were playing the Jets, and it was a weekend where I was staying at a hotel with this youth group, and there was like, I don't know, 100 or 200 kids, and we were all running around the hotel. And back then, I guess the organization wasn't putting their players up in the fanciest of hotels, so they were all staying at the Viscount Gort in Winnipeg.
The Gort.
and there was like talk, oh, Gretzky's here, and so everybody was like running around trying to find Gretzky. And then like I think they were smart enough to know that there were all these kids running around, so they didn't take the elevators, so they took the stairs. But then I guess somebody keyed into that, and like we found Gretzky, and he was with like Lee Fogelin, I think, and a bunch of guys got his autograph. And I mean, it was just, everybody was really excited. But I think that was like over the whole weekend, they managed to corral him once in the stairs, and that was pretty exciting.
Cool. That's too funny.
Yeah.
You got some cards too? I saw you testing out the camera in the background there.
Yeah. I mean, I got this one right now. Whoops. Which is actually up for auction. It's a 4. It's okay.
Nice, man. Nothing wrong with a 4.
Yeah. So then I didn't think I had anything, but then I just realized I got a bunch of stuff. But this was the stuff that was also lying around. This was just an auto. And it's not authenticated, but I think it was real. And then there's another auto.
Shawn above you is someone who can maybe he tends to know when autographs are fake or real.
But one of them was in this holder, which I had never seen before. Whoops.
Yeah, I used to have a bunch of those holders in the 90s.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought it was real because it was in this holder, which I took it out of. And so this card is like obviously not a real card, but it's a disappointment to me that he does not have a WHA card. It's like, wouldn't that be the best? Like if he had that card?
Then we'd have a situation like we have with sort of like with Michael Jordan. I know it's different because his star card is still a Bulls card, but you'd have that issue going on. And then people would question if the 79 O-Pee-Chee is truly his rookie, and Tops for that matter. So in a way, I'm glad we don't have that. But if we did, then maybe.
But if it was like a part of the WHA set, then
it would be a rookie.
Yeah,
it's still professional hockey.
So anyway, I also have this stuff, which I recently picked up. It's a bunch of 90s gems, but
gems.
I got some of it. I don't know. I haven't even really tried to see what's what, but I guess some of it is probably more obscure than some of the other things.
The card you have there, the red one in the bottom left from our angle, I have that card in a I think a PSA 10 slab. I love that one. It's a beautiful card.
Nice card.
Yeah. Some randoms right there.
This was like a collection, and the guy collected, like, he had players. So Gretzky was one of his players. So it's just random cards. But there wasn't anything vintage really, just newer stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that icon's on the bottom left of that sheet is pretty. I have a die cut version out of 100 of that card that's very rare.
Yeah.
Well, anything die cut, of course, would be rare. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff, man.
He had a lot of cards.
Yeah, well, no doubt.
This is the last one.
Oh, there's another. There's that same card again at the top right. You have two of that card.
Oh yeah, the right. Yeah.
Anyway.
See if I can
love it. Love that card.
Where I pulled out all my Gretzky cards tonight in case we had time. There's no way we have time, but there's my copy of it right there.
Oh yeah.
It's the Premier Pivots from '94 Ultra.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a cool. I think it's a really nice card. I just love the unique design.
That's becoming one of my favorite cards. The refractor.
The blast. Cool, is that the O-Pee-Chee or the Tops?
I don't know. I got several of them.
But yeah, still a great. Yeah, that's the blast from the past. Awesome.
Love these cards.
Yeah, me too. I have the non-refractor version somewhere in my pile of Gretzky cards. So, all right, guys. Well, listen, we are coming up on the 2-hour mark of the episode. Oh, the old ESO card, Dave. Yeah, the old ESO card.
Yeah,
that's all. Okay, Dave, hang tight right there, man. You're welcome to hang tight there for a minute. So I'm just going to bring up Tim's comment. The show and tell stories have made this one of the best shows yet. Well done, Jeremy and Shawn. Thank you very much, Tim, for that gracious comment. All right, so we are going to wrap this up, guys. We're at 1 hour, 54 minutes. This has been fun. It's been special. Shawn, thank you for joining through the duration of the show. It's been great to have you. You are the Gretzky of Gretzky collectors. You've been featured all over national news up here in Canada, probably in the US as well. So it's been nice to have you as my wingman for the evening. I want to thank everybody who did come on and join us tonight. That was just a lot of fun to meet more people. And we're going to come. I'm going to be back with another episode with my buddy Spencer Williams. We're going to be live in about 5 to 10 minutes from now, 10 after the hour at the latest. He's an eBay power seller, consignment seller, and he's going to talk about the issues on eBay that are going on for sellers right now, something that Dave would also know something about, I'm sure. Dave does some of that himself. JR says 99 viewers. Yeah, I see that right now, 99 viewers at the moment. JR, that's pretty funny. Currency Project says the Gretzky of Gretzky collectors. I mean, that's not a lie. Now, Terry Fortune, who has some great Gretzky cards and showed that exquisite tribute at the end, which has me salivating with a 3-color Oilers piece. What a card that is. Might give Shawn a run for his money as the Gretzky of Gretzky collectors. I'd call Terry the Gretzky of Gretzky card collectors and Shawn the Gretzky of Gretzky memorabilia. Is that fair, Shawn, to say?
Fair enough. I can take that.
You can take that, yeah. Well, so again, we got I want to, as is going on the ticker right now, Nat Turner, a week from today, will be joining me on the show. He will be our guest. He owns PSA Collectors Universe right now. That'll be interesting. 2 weeks from today, we're having ladies' night. I haven't announced this yet, but we have ladies' night 2 weeks from tonight with Christina from Christina's PC. Will be joining me for the early show, and the late show will be Sam from Sam's Stuff. I'm not sure of her last name, but she has her own YouTube channel and features all the women in the hobby. It's called Women of the Hobby. She'll be joining me on the late show. So that'll be a lot of fun 2 weeks from now. And then 3 weeks from now is the virtual expo. So don't forget about the virtual expo, everybody. I'm going to throw that up on the ticker right now. There it is. Registration is free to join. Vendors, it's not free, but it's free to be a patron of the show. I'll be set up there, and Steve, who owns it, is introducing a new concept called Slab Fest, which is going to be pretty cool. It's going to be 1 hour on Saturday, 1 hour on Sunday on the main stage with no other content going on at the show at that time except for the booths themselves. So I'm not going to talk much more about it. You want to see that for yourself and what it is, but check out Slab Fest at the virtual expo and be sure to register. Why not? It's free. You can come and go as you please. All right. Couple final comments. Logan Ward, appreciate that, especially from the non-hockey collectors that do watch this show week after week. Really appreciate that from you, Logan. Great to hear. Josh Packham, great work. Lots of fun. Thanks a lot, Josh. Thanks a lot. What is this comment here? I'm not sure. I can't read it all too long. This was great. Thank you so much, Sanderson Dorr. Really appreciate that. And this one here, where the name, I don't see it, and I don't see it on Facebook right now, but seems like you were on the show. So thanks for being on tonight. To you as well. I don't know who made that comment. All right. That's good. Shawn, we good?
Awesome. I had a really good time. Thanks everyone for calling in. It was really, really good to see some faces and put them to names. And hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Yeah, well, there's Dave showing off the I forget what it's called now. The Premier Pivots.
I put it in a top loader.
Yeah, it's a cool card, man. I like it. All right, well, Dave, thanks for bringing us home tonight. Everybody else, thanks for joining. If you're going to join me on After Hours with Spencer, we'll be going live in about 10, under 10 minutes from now. Spencer, if you're watching, get ready. Thank you, Steven De Silva. Appreciate that. If we don't see you on After Hours, have a great week ahead. Last thing I want to mention, I pulled out all my Gretzky cards. I got stacks of them here. I've got a pretty solid Gretzky collection. I might have to do a special late night episode or something tomorrow. We will see to share my Gretzky collection with everybody who would be interested. Aside from that, Michael Hamm, thank you very much. Sun Max Headroom, Steven, thank you so much. That is it, guys. Shawn, Dave, hang tight for 1 second. Everybody else, good night. We'll see you on After Hours in a few minutes.